Surviving childhood punishments.
Being born into the world is a blessing and curse. You're born not knowing a single thing. And to learn these things, your parents choose an array of choices to teach you some life lessons. Like, life is really messed up when you think about it. First off, you're born into the world without your consent, have to adjust to the world around you, and get punished for things you didn't even know were bad. Like, how was I supposed to know I can't stare at the disabled man, mom and dad? So I want to go through some childhood punishments, and I'll also be ranking them on certain factors.
The only childhood, I never got the belt. Did you guys ever get the belt? I never got the belt. The biggest childhood punishment that I had to not endure, but I had a lot, was I just stood in a corner for like an hour. That was my punishment. I have like vivid memories of a corner in like my old home where I would just stand. And I wasn't allowed to not, I had to face the corner, and they would watch, my mom would watch me. And if I turned around, she'd be like, turn back around. And I'd go, stupid. And it's like an hour when you're 8 feels like a day. Like a day. It probably wasn't an hour. It was probably like a half hour. But I would stand there for a while. I remember it was probably a half hour. It felt like 6 hours. Like standing still, just staring at the wall. You got to take a piss. You're hungry. You're like, man, this is just, that's abuse. That is not abuse. If you think getting punished by your parents and having to just stand in a wall stand and stare at a corner is abuse, your kids are going to be fucking awful. I'm not advocating for like belting your children. I think that is crazy. But having to stand in a corner for like 15, 30 minutes because you did something wrong, that's not abusive. That's just, you did something wrong, now you gotta stand in a fucking corner.
It's crazy how the belt is like the most universal.
Yeah, getting beaten with a belt is abuse.
Universal child punishment around the world. Your parents could be from America, South America, Africa, Asia. They all unite against one evil by beating the out their kids with belts. For the belt, I feel like there's a certain age limit where a parent has to stop doing it, because you can only do it for so long until that kid has had enough and catches it to reverse it on your ass. Like, I probably stopped getting the belt after 7 years old. And with the belt, I'm kind of kerfuffled on it because I feel like it's needed. And
bro just used the word kerfuffled. Probably haven't heard that one in my entire life.
It's not needed at the same time. It all just depends on the scenario. Like, if my kid decides to take a baseball bat and break my $1,000 flat screen TV, you're damn right, I'm whipping that kid like it's before Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
Damn, I don't know what I would do. If I had a kid and he broke my TV, I feel like that motherfucker, you know what he would do? He would work for me until he got enough money to pay it back. That's what I had to do. See, I feel like my punishments made sense when I was a kid. Like, I remember I broke like one of those Guitar Hero drum sets that one of my cousins had, and I had to do like a bunch of chores. Like, I had a list of chores that, like, mowing the lawn might have been like $5-10, right? And then like cleaning the house or vacuuming might have been like $5. And so it was like I had to earn enough money through like this rudimentary work for money system, and then I was done. Right, so it taught me, like, if you break it, you buy it, but, like, if I break it now, I have to do something in coordinates to get. How did I break it? You know those bouncy yoga balls? I was throwing it against the wall, and then I, like, headbutted it, and it bounced, and it fucking flew back and shattered the entire fucking Guitar Hero setup, and I just went.
And I feel like belt whoopings are needed now more than ever. Have y'all seen how much kids have been wilding online recently? I be seeing little kids posting videos of them vaping, assaulting strangers for some tic-tac views. And this all stopped because parents want to what? Not emotionally scar their child with physical punishment. You'll get over it. But then you got
I think the issue with physical punishment is it doesn't teach you. It teaches you that if you do an action, you get a negative response, which is the form of any punishment. But it kind of instills don't do this because you'll get hurt rather than don't do this because it's wrong. Both result in somebody not doing the action, but one results in somebody understanding why that action is wrong.
Parents growing up who would whip their kids for the littlest of things. You could tell some parents just try taking their frustration out on something. Like, you might as well get a punching bag because your kid's not supposed to be it. And then they'd be surprised when they end up in a nursing home acting like nothing ever happened. The belt either machoed you up and prepared you for the real world, or left you with psychological scarring buried deep in your heart that attaches to every friendship and relationship you'll ever stumble in the rest of your life, causing lifelong insecurities in yourself. Probably the second one.
One of my older cousins used to tell his dad, he was like, Dad, remember, one day you're going to be in a wheelchair and you're going to be on the second floor of a building and you're going to need me to help you get down. And I'm going to help you get down those stairs. He's going to push him down the fucking stairs in the wheelchair.
Yelling. Now, a lot of people consider getting yelled at as a kid is at least better than getting whooped. But I don't know how controversial this is.
Nah, the scariest thing was the mother stare. That shit put fear in your eyes. You're in public and you're acting up and your mom just goes. And you don't notice it at first, right? You're just kind of fucking lollygagging around, you know, you're fucking around or whatever it's called. You're just, you know, and then you're like, and then you just start standing there. You're like, oh shit.
I feel like it's worse most times. As a kid, I barely remember the times I was whooped because it was so long ago, more than the times I was yelled at for doing something wrong. And the worst part is, you know you can't talk back, so you just gotta pace back and forth in your room, thinking of all the you say, but you can't say because you know if you talk back, then you're getting the belt. And even when you did slightly talk back or try to at least tell them your point, they're gonna go, oh, you talking back now? Like, yes, you're yelling at me. Was I supposed to just let it happen and not say my point? One thing I'm glad my parents never did, though, was yell at me in public. When I see a parent doing that, it'd be so embarrassing to me. Do you feel no shame? And that's what they do in public. If I see a parent doing that, I can tell that child is definitely...
Yeah, I think that is fucked. But, I mean, if you gotta... I think it's a mixture of the two. I think it's bad parenting and a bad kid. But if it's like, the parent's yelling at the child in the middle of the restaurant, I think that's just like, you're being an annoying parent.
Getting abused. CPS will be called to that home shortly. The worst feeling though was getting yelled at for something you never...
You know a good parent? When you're at a movie theater, you're at a restaurant, you hear a baby start crying, wah, wah, and you're like, then you look over and the mom stands up, grabs the kid and leaves, and they're like calming him down, and you're like, that's a good parent. He's a good parent, you know? Good societal person, right? You didn't just ruin my restaurant experience. Bad parent. They just leave that motherfucker in that stupid ass baby chair. Just for fucking 20 minutes. And they're like, let him cry it out. 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 But he just ate fucking 10 bowls of Cheerios. 10 little kid-sized cups of Cheerios. That motherfucker has enough energy to cry for the next 2 hours. And I'm only going to be here for the next hour and a half. What the fuck do you mean let him get it out? Take him outside.
That's when I really learned what a false accusation is. Then when they realized their mistake, you never got an apology and had to take it on the chin. Ooh, that would have me heated. Effectiveness, 9 out of 10. Psychological scarring, 10 out of 10. The hand. Another universal tool that can replace the belt is the hand. And even better, it's free. Honestly, I prefer the hand over the belt because at least the stinging will go away faster. But I never really got hit with the hand as a kid. I feel like the hand is a gateway to child abuse because it takes one day where you cuff the hand and turn it into a fist and end up Mike Tysoning your child and ending up in prison. Effectiveness, 7 out of 10. Psychological scarring, 8 out of 10. Grounding. Alright, we're lowering the intensity a little bit with something simple. Being grounded was a minus or plus depending on what type of kid you were. Like, kids nowadays probably don't give a f.
Getting grounded back then, like in the 90s, was, oh, you can't go outside. Getting grounded now is like, I'm gonna take your Xbox. I think that's the new version of grounding, right? I get grounded every week. Yeah, grounded now is like, all right, now you can't play video games. Give me your PlayStation. And then you're like, fuck! What am I supposed to read?
Because they can hop on their iPad and play Fortnite and Roblox while talking to their friends.
Can you just hit me instead? Like, God, Mom, fuck. Taking the PlayStation, will you just fucking beat me or something? Like, damn.
But before the iPad generation, being grounded as a kid was basically being put in prison. You would get home from school and see kids in your neighborhood frolicking and having fun while you gotta just stare from your window, isolated alone. Your homies are all out on the basketball court or soccer field and you're just imagining how much fun you could be having. If you had siblings, they were probably outside too as well, so you were just stuck isolated alone. And imagine that feeling for weeks or months. Not fun. Effectiveness, 9 out of 10. Psychological scarring, 10 out of 10. Timeout.
I also don't think grounding is necessarily... I think, like, maybe short-term grounding, like a day, is fine, but... like, long-term grounding, when parents, like, make their kids, like, not leave the house for, like, a month, I'm like, dude, that's like prison.
Timeouts got it.
Timeouts was the shit. Timeouts was the shit I went through.
Be the weakest punishment of all time.
No, it is not, bro. No, it is not. Motherfuckers say, oh, timeout's the weakest punishment ever. Bro, go sit in a corner for 30 fucking minutes. Ugh. You can't do anything.
Like, out of all things you're gonna do to me, all I gotta do is sit in that corner for 30 minutes?
Timeouts were useless for you? I mean, I think it varies on person. But I was just like, I don't know. Like, I don't think I have ADHD, but I would get so fucking bored sitting in a corner. Like, being grounded, like, I was grounded maybe, like, once or twice for, like, a day. And it was like, yeah, I would just have to sit in my room. But, like, there were still things I could do. Sitting in a corner was just awful.
I'll gladly take it over any of the punishments before this. The only time timeouts were embarrassing is when you got them in school. Not only are you getting embarrassed in front of your homies, but
lunch detention or no recess. That was fucking shit. You gotta bring your lunch with the teacher. You're just fucking sitting there and eating your ham and cheese. Teacher brings out some stupid Tupperware bin, like fucking pasta, and they're just like sitting there, and every once in a while they look up at you and you're like, stupid ass teacher, fucking Mrs. Smith, fucking dumb ass.
Also the host. What if my crush was there? And I guarantee they're gonna remember that moment up until graduation, so bye-bye to any chance you had. And now that I'm older and bolder and graduated, I can finally say it. F you, Miss Harris. With your dirty ass lips, I make double what you make now. I'll put your ass in timeout.
Yo, nah.
But my limit for timeouts would be like an hour. If you got timeouts for like 6 hours or something, then they might as well have thrown you into solitary confinement. Effectiveness, 3 out of 10. Psychological scarring, 3.5 out of 10.
Bro, I don't think any psychological scarring's out of a fucking timeout. Soap in the mouth.
Soap in the mouth. I didn't even know this was legit a punishment parents did.
My grandparents did that to me one time.
Until one of my white friends told me that he never,
like 5 minutes, bro,
never got whooped but got that. And once again, this is a walk in the park. I wish the worst
ain't a walk in the park, bro. Bar of soap, you stand in a corner.
Punishment I got was some antibacterial dial soap on my mouth for 30 seconds. Plus, it'll make your
tell the story. You just stand with a bar of soap in your mouth. I don't even know why I don't even know what I did.
Breath smell better.
I definitely did some shit. I don't know what it was.
If anything, they're helping you. Effectiveness, 1 out of 10. Psychological scarring, 3 out of 10. Taking away stuff. Honestly, out of everything on this list, I put this as number 1. We grew up in such a technology.
I think that is a good means of teaching your kids what's right and wrong. Just removal of the things they enjoy rather than inflicting something on them, right? It's like the removal of happiness rather than the inflicting of sadness.
When I was younger, if me and my brother ever f***ed up our grades, the first thing swiped from us was our console. And it's not like we could say shit we didn't pay for it. The whole gang would be on playing some type of game, meanwhile we couldn't. Even if we had our computers or phones, nothing was gonna be missing out on that party chatting game session. Luckily, I never even got my phone swiped because even then, my parents knew taking a phone from a child in the 21st century is very dangerous and is also like throwing them in solitary confinement and only seeing the general population for an hour. Nowadays, if you take a phone from a kid though, you're basically taking their whole life away.
Oh yeah, that'd be like torture for y'all. I already know damn well some of my Twitch chatters got their phone taken away. Oh, that'd be like a death sentence. You'd be sitting there with a 1,000-yard stare. Staring at the wall, counting the fucking paint flecks. What do I do? Fucking just walking around. What am I? Is this grass outside?
Look at the way those ankle-biting Gen Alpha kids act like when the iPad is swiped from them. They gain the strength of 5 prime Mike Tysons to get it back. Effectiveness, 6 out of 10.
I hate iPad kids out at restaurants and shit. I would never let my kid use an iPad at a fucking restaurant. I'd be like, bro, just sit here and fucking listen to the conversation. Yeah, you're 5. You don't understand economics or some shit. Whatever the hell we're talking about. Just fucking sit there. You got that kid with fucking tomato sauce all over his fucking hands. He's like, fucking, and it's like how you know how babies grab shit? Oh, it fucking pisses me off, man. Sitting there and they're like, with their stupid infant fingers, and they're like, yeah. Sitting there, but now they have like sauce all over their face and it's like covering their hands and they're like mushing it all over the fucking iPad.
Psychological scarring, 4 out of 10. The chankla / slipper. Another alternative to the belt, and some would even say more comparable to it. Getting hit with any slipper was way more dangerous because it could pop out at any time. The device is portable and can be used in any time of anger. Like you could legit be running away and they throw that.
Said you're an iPad kid, bro, because I play Clash of Clans when I take a shit. Who doesn't? Okay. Did I used to have an iPad mini when I was a kid? Yeah. Was I an iPad kid? No.
accuracy. It's like they got trained by military snipers on how to be the most accurate. And if you're Hispanic, there's about a 99.9% chance this was probably used more than the belt. Effectiveness, 7.5 out of 10. Psychological scarring, 8 out of 10. Spanking. Spanking is another one of those universal punishments that the whole world does. If you
Spank is the same thing as the hand.
weren't getting the belt, you were getting spanked. If you weren't getting spanked, you were getting the belt. If your parents were really f***ed up, you got both. Maybe even everything combined before this. I feel like I didn't know a lot of kids that were spanked as their punishment, even though it's one of the most common punishments. I also feel you could recover from a spanking faster than getting hit with the belt. And it's always been weird to me how schools in America used to let teachers spank kids.
Yeah. When back in the day, dude, I remember your grandparents ever teach you about that shit. Ask if your grandparents are still alive, be like, hey, grandpa, what was school like when you were fucking 10? And he was like, oh yeah, we all sat in the same classroom. There was like 30 kids and the teacher would hit you with a fucking ruler. I was like, wow. The teacher was just allowed to beat you.
As a matter of fact, it's not even illegal in all states. It's still allowed in 19 states. If I said
what? That's not true. Where corporal punishment is used in 50% of schools or more, Mississippi. So there's still a lot of Mississippi. Oh, it's a lot of southern states. There's a lot of southern states where they're allowed to hit the kids.
Allowed in 19 states. If I send my child to school and they come back telling me they got paddled, that teacher's getting paddled by me next. And trust me, I won't make it enjoyable. I'm thinking of all the times a teacher f***ed me over in class and imagining if they had the power to paddle me for that bullshit. And imagine if you got beef with one of the teachers and they paddle your child as revenge. What could you even do to stop them? And when Gen Z...
I feel like that's only up till, like, when they're in middle school, though. Like, probably elementary school to middle school. I think middle school and higher, you're going to start having a higher percentage of kids that are like, fuck this, and they fight back. Like, if I was in high school and my teacher tried to hit me, oh, I'd fucking swing on them. Like, they're not... Like, I think that would end poorly for many teachers in that scenario. You got, like, a 70-year-old fucking borderline grandma. She's like, all right. And she brings over the ruler, fucking swings at you. You're like, oh, shit.
He becomes teachers. You think I'm letting you put hands on my children? You getting boomed on the spot. Effectiveness 7 out of 10. Psychological scarring 6 out of 10. Cutting off hair. I remember seeing videos of kids getting their hair cut off as punishment, and I always thought, no way this actually happens, right? Until someone in my school when I was younger got all his dreads cut off for getting suspended. And low-key, that worked. He was a pure peril danger thug before that, and now he's about to graduate college. So you had to have been a bad kid for this to be your punishment.
You gotta give him the old Psychowitz haircut, the old man haircut. Your kid does something wrong, you just cut this circle on his head, leave the rest. All right, go to class.
This punishment is one of those things where you're never living it down, because you know for
he tries to like wear a beanie for most of the day. It's like gym class. All the friends are like, bro, take it off. All right. He fucking takes it off. Oh, God, that would be like a death sentence. I don't think that's a good punishment for your kid because they're going to get fucking bullied.
If you come in that school going from a full head of hair to the nugget cut the next day, everyone knew exactly what happened to your ass and was going to clown with you.
Somebody said make a munting stream. I just Googled what munting meant yesterday, and no. Munting is a variation of necrophilia involving 2 live people and 1 dead, male or female. To munt is to find and dig up a semi-decomposed corpse. One person then goes down on said corpse while the other jumps on the dead person's stomach, causing the juices of the decomposed organs to be forced from all orifices. These are then drank by the person orally connected to the corpse.
And this is the type of where if you do it to your kid, don't expect them to speak to you after they turn 18. The school roasts are never leaving their head. That's permanent PTSD. Effectiveness, 8.5 out of 10. Psychological scarring, 9.
Nah, now I gotta show the video where I saw that shit. Yo, it's like the funniest fucking TikToker. Coop Noop. I love Coop Noop, dude. I gotta show the video.
So as the CEO of TikTok, why shouldn't we ban the app?
Right. First of all, there's a lot of people that use it. You know, it's got an amazingly large user base. It inspires a lot of people. There's some small businesses that
well, I've got a video here I want to show you. Yeah, and if you could just explain this to me. Is munting the new meta? Should you be munting in public around your parents and friends? Can you explain that to me? What is munting?
That's just That's just one video. There's a lot of videos. I don't think that.
Yes,
that
there are a lot of videos. How about I show you another
Okay.
one? Okay.
Caught gooning by Livy Dunn, Baby Gronk only in Ohio edging compilation 2020.
Can you explain this?
Got recoil.
Can you please explain to me what gooning is? What is this? What does this mean?
Maybe I should get my lawyer.
No, I think it's too late for that. Here's another video.
Okay,
Why don't you give me your opinion
yeah.
on this?
Top 10 ways to jelk and mew all at the same time, all while giving Blumpkins to your best friend. Jelking
What
10
is
inches.
jelking?
Jelking girth.
Sir, what is jelking? Please explain this to me.
Maybe we should.
Should you be munting with your friends? Is munting the new meta?
Door taken off room. If you're a parent at the point where you have to do this to your child, I think you failed. In what purpose is taking the door off the room gonna teach them a lesson? I would never trust my parents for anything. You're straight up stripping my rights. And how the f would I even?
Yeah, now taking a door off the fucking room or off the hinges is crazy. That or not allowing your kid to like lock their door. I think everybody deserves some form of privacy.
Change in the bathroom? Or is the door taken off that too? I don't know any kids that this happened to personally, but if you're watching this and it did, then
Wait, taking the fucking lock off the bathroom.
I hope you're holding up. Effectiveness 6 out of 10. Psychological scarring 8 out of 10. Kicked out the house. If you got kicked out the house, then it had to have been for some absolute heinous you did. Like, this one is way too dangerous to risk. I don't even know how you could do this as a parent. If it's like for 30 minutes or an hour, I could hear it out. But if you're kicking your child out for days, then are you not worried they're gonna get kidnapped or something? Or you're gonna get charged with child neglect? And how old are we talking? Because I couldn't see you doing this to a kid below the age of 13. The world is way too dangerous to be doing this nowadays. There's no world where I'm ever doing this to my kid. Effectiveness 6 out of 10. Psychological scarring 8 out of 10. And last,
Well, I think kicking out of the house isn't even really a punishment. That's just like, fuck you, we're done with this for right now. But that's just like child neglect.
studying. Come to think of it, this is more of a benefit than punishment. I kind of wish I got this a lot, because when I finally started to realize that adults weren't these almighty beings that can manage themselves responsibly, and everybody has no clue what they're doing, this knowledge could have helped me worlds ahead of people. The average person's reading comprehension due to massive pounding of attention spans.
Oh yeah, brain rot TikTok content, dude. Don't like the average kids nowadays have like a reading level like 3 grades below their age now.
Fucking content is now equivalent to an acorn. And don't get me started on math to tic-tacs. I'm very much cooked on this too. I'm one of those people that needs a calculator to add single digits. I might just be spec. Effectiveness 7 out of 10. Psychological scarring 2 out of 10. So yeah, I'm gonna end it right there. Let me know the worst punishment that happened to y'all. Follow me.
That was a fucking good ass video. Tyler for the 10 to PCRF, Pump for the 10 to PCRF, Tanky for the sub, Raid for the 5. I have to go take a piss real quick, chat, but then we got 2 more videos. Count me down 30 seconds.